The Volquest 2-minute drill is brought to you by Craven Wings.
Craven Wings 2-minute drill on this Tuesday. Got to hear from Coach Jerry Mack, Coach Rodney Garner, and a trio of Vols. We'll start with Coach Mack. I said it, on the podcast, really since halftime of the Florida game, Jabari Smalls looked like the Jabari Small of old, and Coach Mack pretty much backed that up.
Yeah, certainly. Praised his patience, praised his physicality, says he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. That run game's got a lot of confidence. One of the challenges for that group, though, is obviously the pass protection. And
the load this week.
You got a load with Anderson coming to town. And, Dylan Sampson talked about the learning curve and the learning experience he had. Said that he missed that block on the big hit by Hendon Hooker because his eyes were in the wrong place. And he said, one of the challenges that they talk about with all the running backs and pass protection is it starts with their eyes. You got to make sure your eyes are in the right place and you see what you need to see. Dylan Sampson didn't see. And as a result, Hendon Hooker took that big shot. Obviously, they have to pass protect really well, and they've got to have a run game to have some balance this week.
Defensively, Coach Garner knows his group has played well. They've not played perfect, but he's getting a lot out of the 12 bodies that you talked about when you asked him about playing all the different players. But he's also preaching, let's not rest on what we've done. We can keep getting better.
Yeah, some people will look at that and say, he's never happy and he's Eeyore and grumbly and all of those types of things. But
we also figured out where Hub's got that from Rodney in '96 and has never relinquished the Eeyore role.
And so, I think the biggest thing that he's trying to express to convey to those guys is there's another level there, and that level includes playing cleaner football, being more sound technique-wise, not getting sloppy and some of those things there. And he talked about it, they're playing a team on Saturday who's not going to beat themselves. That's what Nick Saban's team is. They don't beat themselves. So you've got to be at your best, and you've got to play at a different level. You don't have to play perfect. He's not saying that. But there are mistakes that they've been making that they can't make. Stuff they got away with at LSU, you won't be able to get away with this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change Rodney's contact in my phone to analogy, because that's what he kept doing, throwing out analogies. He talked about you can't run out of gas if you're in a plane. You can't refuel when you're up in the air, and that's why they play so many bodies. Alabama's like the Mercedes-Benz factory. Everything's a performance. Great luxury. Yeah. I mean, he was pulling them all out.
But what he's got is he's got a group of guys who are playing really well. Latrell Bumpus talked about it. I mean, you can listen to Latrell Bumpus talk, and you can see and hear the confidence he has with where they're going, and that's a credit to Bumpus, that's a credit to that room, and that's a credit to that room's buy-in to a guy who's hard to play for in Rodney Garner. I mean, he demands things because he wants it harder during the week than it is on Saturdays. This group is buying into that, and as a result, this group's playing well right now.
As for Cedric Tillman, I've talked to a couple of different people. He's doing more and more each day. I think this is going to boil down to where did the doctors feel he's at, where does his family think he's at, and could he potentially play? Yeah, but if you're only 70%, does that help anybody?
Well, and I think that's going to be the determining factor. Remember this about Tennessee's practice schedule. Friday is a get lathered up pretty good day, right? It's not just a walkthrough. They work out pretty good on Fridays. They will test him really hard, really good on Friday to see where he's at. And as Josh Heupel talked about a couple of weeks ago, where is he fundamentally? Can he cut and do all the things that he wants to do? What's his functionality, if you will, with playing the position? And then after they determine that, they'll consult with doctors and the family and decide if he's physically capable of going. We know how much Cedric Tillman wants to play in this game. The question is just how productive can he be if he's out there not at 100%.
Well, he's to that point where walking around the complex, you'd never know he was injured. But there's a difference between walking around the complex and cutting on a dig route on Saturday afternoon.
No question, but that's what the tightrope surgery was designed for, and that's what it does. Had he not had that surgery, he'd still be in a boot right now. And that's the difference. Does it mean he plays on Saturday? Don't know, but the surgery gives him a chance to possibly play on Saturday. And again, that determination will be made at the end of this week.
He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price. Craven Wings 2-minute drill. Don't forget, tomorrow is Wing Ding Wednesday, which means a great deal on those wings.
When you're craving wings, it's got to be Craven Wings. Online at cravenwings.com.